was this one lady who would come in every few weeks and try to get a table, but she would never wear shoes. We were right on the beach, so it wasn't that uncommon for us to have to tell people to put shoes on, and they'd go get them and come back. But this lady was anti-shoe. She was a rude, pushy, hippie-looking lady, and she would throw a fit and tell us that we were discriminating against her, and explain that she was part of some movement for the shoeless. Most of the time, she would be turned away at the door because the hostess knew who she was, but eventually we got a new hostess who didn't know about the anti-shoe lady and got scared when the lady yelled at her, so she sat her shoeless butt in my section. As I'm walking up to the table, I realize who she is, and I immediately look at her feet. Of course, there's no shoes, so I'm like, what the heck? Now I have to deal with this crazy jerk. I'm like, ma'am, you need shoes on. It's dangerous, there could be glass, blah blah blah. And she tells me she will not wear shoes. She's already seated, and I'm going to serve her. And then she pulls out this paper and tells me to give it to my manager. It's an official looking letter. I forgot exactly where from, that says that this lady has filed something with somewhere to be allowed in public places with no shoes because it is against her beliefs. I show my manager, and we all gather together in the kitchen and talk crap and laugh for a few minutes. My manager brings her note back and tells her that she's ridiculous and we still won't be serving her if there's not shoes on her feet, no matter what note she brings in. She rants and raves about her rights and the ridiculous shoe rule we enforce. She tells my manager that since she never wears shoes, her feet are harder, and if she steps on something in our restaurant, it will not hurt her and she will not sue. But if we do not serve her, we will hear from her lawyer. My manager was kinda cool, so he tells us to just ignore her and leave her there. So we all proceeded with our jobs and ignore her while she sits in my section for about an hour. Every time someone walks by, she tries to get their attention, and she says she's ready to order, but we just ignore her. It felt great, especially because this lady was a rude jerk who was just using our restaurant to prove a point that did not need to be proven. Also, her feet were really gross. She eventually just left, and after that day, she didn't come back. According to her, there's a whole organization of shoeless people fighting the battle alongside her, but I find that hard to believe, because why? Anyways, it just seems so similar to the people who won't wear the masks, and I like to think she's out there somewhere fighting for her right to be shoeless, but now she's also maskless, and employees everywhere are having to decide whether to kick her out over non-shoes or her non-mask. I hope that lady has to cook her own food for the rest of her shoeless life. Anyone else ever met this lady or someone like her? Thanks for reading, and good luck out there. Do you think customers should have to wear shoes or not? Please let us know. Maybe they should start their own restaurant where no one has to wear shoes. Imagine what it would smell like. Am I the jerk for telling my girlfriend I'll literally kick her out if she won't see a doctor? I'm honestly out of ideas for how to help my girlfriend, and so maybe I was too harsh today, but I'm losing my mind over this situation. She definitely has a medical issue of some kind. She goes to the walk-in sometimes, but they won't do anything long-term that needs monitoring, so she needs a family doctor. And she's been on a list for over a year, and she does call around occasionally to family doctors, but has not had any luck. But I don't think she's taking her health seriously at all, and offer to take her to the ER sometimes, because seriously, she could get hurt or something, and I want this addressed as soon as possible. She is thin and small. She doesn't eat much, but partly, and I can confirm, because she often throws up after having just a few bites of a meal, and then feels sick for a while. That kind of knocks her out of the day for a few hours, so she just takes vitamins, and occasionally drinks Ensure, the kind of drink targeted at people to keep up calories, but she's only 23, and she's weirdly fine with this, and says she's always kind of been this way, which isn't true, because we started dating 2 years ago, and I definitely saw her eat normally at some times in the past. She wakes up in the middle of the night to be sick in the bathroom. Sometimes in the middle of the day, she goes from totally coherent to looking like a drunk person in like less than 5 minutes, and I literally have to force her to drink some juice or something. I'm not a doctor, but I know she needs one, like yesterday. I'm not even comfortable with letting her drive anymore, because of how spacey she can get out of nowhere. She keeps saying she's on the list, and will get a doctor eventually, but I think seriously this is bad, and I know I'm nagging, but it's kind of scary, and I don't know what to do at all. Today she got really weak and confused, and forgot about lots of things we were talking about just this morning. And I said I kind of want to call an ambulance, and she told me that she's fine, and would be mad if I did that. And I'm so upset. I said like, if you're trying to hurt yourself,